We are here with our first guest, leadoff batter, Harrisson Bohrman, who it says here is co-producer of Vomit.
Vomit, yeah. It's a global graffiti documentary. Sometimes people think I say vomit with a V. It's not. It's V-O-M-B-I-T, like explosion.
Vomit.
It's called, because it's a slang for graffiti. So
Is bombing?
It's called, yeah, bombing the system, Vomit.
Okay.
And we originally premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival. It was part of the World Docs competition. It was great. New York Times critics pick, like LA Times gave us a great review, Wired, everything, and now we've just been screening across the world and getting the word out about the film. It's been a lot of fun.
Okay, now this this covers the art itself and a number of graffiti artists. Tell us a little bit about.
Yeah, it's really, we start with the history, kind of looking at, starting with, you know, early man drawing like pictures on, like cavemen drawing pictures, and it goes to Alexander the Great and the Egyptians, and really looking at history and why man draws on walls and what art is. And it's looking at the movement of what graffiti is, what it means to different cultures, what it means to New York or Brazil or South Africa or Japan. And there's really so many different styles of graffiti, because a lot of people just look at it as, oh, it's vandalism, or oh, it's ugly, or some people like it. And it's really, it takes a debate and it says, you know, is this vandalism? Is it free speech? Is it art? Is it expression? What is it? And it really tries to take both sides and look at it in every single culture and what it means to each person.
Now, what country has the craziest graffiti? The craziest looking? The Asians have with the, you know.
They have some beautiful, and Amsterdam too. They have beautiful murals, and it's. I mean, it's basically their dollar bills, not dollar bills, but their money basically looks. It's like graffiti, and it's just beautiful.
In Amsterdam.
Yeah, and it's. But there's movements going on all over the world, and there are great artists in San Diego that are popping up, and even cities are paying artists to basically paint murals on sides of buildings nowadays, because it's just, they can really put up some beautiful art and play with the colors and the tones. And I think a lot of people have a negative feeling towards graffiti because they think of just someone writing their name on a window or tagging their name, but we really look in the history of it and say it's more than that. That's really how people get started, because they don't have a place to express their art. And we also originally look how in New York in the 80s, it really started off people writing it on subways and trains and buses and everything. And now it's illegal to do that, but a bank can pay a bus $1,000 and put their logo on it. So it's really saying, what is free speech? Why can a bank pay for this, but an average citizen can't express themselves on public transportation?
Right. Now in New York, that's interesting. Now that do they like you say, San Diego has commissioned artists to do stuff for the community? Yeah,
like Venice and San Diego. Just when I drive around on the West Coast, you'll see murals. We'll just say "Welcome to Venice," and it will be there's beautiful murals.
Right, but New York hasn't gotten into that yet.
I know they have free space, they have free walls where people can legally graffiti. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure if it's authorized by the city.
Okay.
But we have so much great footage and such great reaction to the film that John Reese, the director, he's a great director, he's actually hoping to take his footage and make just a New York DVD, just focusing on New York and what's going on there, just LA, just South Africa, because there's just really so much to each region that this is 93 minutes and it's really not enough to cover.
How long did it take? Now you went all around the world, you said.
Yeah, it's especially John Reese and the DP Tracy. They basically travel the world for 5 years, just filming footage. I mean, they literally go into sewers. There's one graffiti artist that only draws in sewers. I guess no one really sees his work, but that's what he likes to do.
Did you get an interview with him?
Yeah, it's fascinating, his life and his style, and it's amazing. And John did such an amazing job getting these interviews with people who really live lives where they try to stay out of the light and they don't want to be out there. So it was a lot of work for John and Tracy to get out there, prove to them that we're not cops, we're not trying to cause any trouble.
Right.
We're just trying to spark debate and show what art you're making.
Now, day jobs, what do you find? Do you find a pattern among graffiti artists, what they do to eat, pay the rent?
Basically, they have their own art shows.
Yep.
Ron English is having some, and everyone's really starting to have some more. And then that's an argument that we actually also address in the film is, does canvas really, is it graffiti just too flat on a canvas? Is it not the same as if it's on a city wall and it's alive and it's part of the culture? Is it not the same if you put it into a nice, nice gallery and you put it on canvas and people walk around? So that's a debate some graffiti artists have, and it's really up to, I guess, the person that wants to pay for it and buy it, if they like it, if they want it in their house. It's kind of also ironic that it's illegal in some places, but then people are paying thousands of dollars for other people's graffiti.
Right.
So it's a funny kind of twist on it.
Now, is this your first film?
I've worked on a bunch of others. It's the first I co-produced. It's the first documentary that I co-produced. and it was a great film
Now,
to work on.
as co-producer, explain your role a little bit if anybody's wondering what you do.
A little bit of everything. It's especially, I came on the project a little bit later, so it was tons of really doing a lot of the music consulting and the street teaming and managing the blog and the distribution, and it's like a little bit of mix of everything. There's not, I can't even say that there's one thing that I do, but especially, you know, Web 2.0, going on blog and Facebook and really getting street teams together internationally and really organizing that, and a lot of things really.
Right, you make it happen.
Yeah,
right.
but I mean, especially John, who's been on this. I mean, this has been his baby for more than 5 years now, and it's amazing that he had to, you know, originally start raising funds by himself and then go out there and really prove to these artists that don't want to talk to him that, you know, hey, I'm not trying to cause any trouble. I really appreciate what you're trying to do, and I want to explore it.
Yeah, that takes a while to get that trust.
Yeah.
So what other stuff have you done, you said?
I'm trying to develop a whole bunch of other projects. I really loved working on documentaries, and it had a great reaction across the world, so I'm trying to get some more going.
Have you done that versus drama, or like documentary versus drama, or?
Yeah, I've worked on a bunch of features, especially being in Connecticut. I got to jump on the whole film boom with the 30% tax rebate. Everyone's jumping out here, so I got to work on a bunch of the films around. But ideally, I would love to go on and work. I love features too. I mean, a big passion of mine for the last 3 to 5 years has been trying to develop a film about Bobby Fischer. I know some other studios are out there trying to do it. And
the chess player.
Yeah, the chess player.
Okay.
And that's the international symbol for chess.
Yes, chess.
Yeah.
Checkmate.
Yeah. And it's just, I think it's a fascinating story. I've been to Iceland a whole bunch of times trying to get that going. But obviously there are other studios out there trying to get that going. So.
Sure, because he just died, right?
Yeah, he died last February.
Now, would you be
January, February?
Yeah, it was recently.
He was, and he was 64 years old, which is ironic because that's how many pieces are on a chessboard. So it's amazing.
Now, would you, in doing that, be using like footage from his real-time footage or real footage, stock footage, or would you be having somebody play him? Or?
I mean, obviously have someone play him.
Yeah.
And then, but I think a documentary would be amazing too. So that would obviously be using original stock footage from Icelandic stock footage. The network's called RUV, and it's a really cool network out there, and it's great people, and they've been great resources to. You go out there, and everyone wants to talk about Bobby and Bobby Fischer because it's such an interesting story. And he was there, you know, in '72 for the match against Spassky, and then he went back for the last years of his life. So it's kind of
in Iceland.
Yeah, in Reykjavik, Iceland.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Thank you for coming on our show.
Thank you so much.
Harrisson Bohrman, co-producer.